Dragonslayers, rescue mission, Squad Sparkle on the move. Search day 3, 2. Shining Armor was leaning back in his seat after the battle. Rainbow Dash was sleeping in her compartment due to mental exhaustion. The fight had taken so much out of her that she had basically fainted after they had returned to base. He knew that he should rest as well, but the radio chatter between the other units of his squad kept him awake. This was a crisis situation and he wanted to see how they managed it. Melon Slice.
Hey, Frostmane, what the hey was it out there? We were almost overwhelmed and you deny us the option to retreat?
Frostmane.
You know all too well that we have to keep this base safe until the reinforcements arrive. We can't have it overrun by the undead now.
Melon Slice.
But still, you see what condition our Slayer is in. We could have died, you know. Ow!
Diamond.
Will you shut up already? Frost did what she thought was right, and you have sworn an oath to obey your superior officers. Sorry, Frost, but the mood over here is a little hot right now. Melon Slice is just being protective of me is all.
Frostmane.
Did you get hurt?
Diamond.
Nothing serious. Great doctor heal yourself, as the saying goes, I guess. Just a sprained pastern and a dislocated hip. We got thrown around here quite a bit after the stabilizers blew up.
Frostmane.
What's the status of your Slayer, then?
Diamond.
I am afraid that it is impossible to repair it here. Even if we got it back to the base somehow, I doubt they would be able to fix it, which is why...
Sugarcoat.
Which is why I think we should abort this mission for good. The princess is most likely dead anyway, and I don't want to test if these junk piles can stand up to an undead alicorn princess. At least not with an incompetent commander like Frostmane.
Mystique.
Sugar! Don't you dare speak to Frostmane like this. She did her best out there, as did the rest of us. Don't forget that you retreated too.
Sugarcoat.
Oh? What do you want to do if I don't stop, Mystique? Beat me up? I want to see you try.
Mystique.
Disembark and I will hand your worthless flank to you.
Frostmane.
Stop it, you two.
Mystique. Sugarcoat. Frostmane.
Our overall performance today was lousy, and I admit that much of it was my fault. So go on, blame me all you want, but I will not tolerate insubordination.
Red Eye.
Don't make yourself worse than you are, Frosty. You still need more experience, as does the rest of us.
Sea Cloud.
I agree with Sugarcoat. We should return to base, not because I think you are incompetent, Frostmane, but because of, well, except Sparkle 6, all of us have suffered damage to our Slayers.
Frostmane.
And what do you think will happen if we return to base after only 3 days? I can tell you, the prince will most likely never start another rescue operation for the princess. We need to do this. If we don't, then who will?
Sugarcoat.
See, and that's why I call you incompetent. We can't fight on like this.
Silver Chain.
As much as I hate to say it, but Sugar is right. We can't complete our mission if our Slayers can barely even move. We need a plan.
Red Eye.
Good thing, then, that you have a member of the original Team Beta with you, then. Only a few miles from here is the place where our squad got overrun by the undead before. We had to leave the captain and 6 almost fully functional Slayers behind. If we can salvage parts from them, we should be able to repair our Slayers, or we could switch completely. It would all depend on their condition.
Diamond. Their condition, you say?
They have been out in the open for years now, not to mention that switching would mean that we would have to get rid of the corpses of the former pilots. I don't really feel comfortable with the idea of sitting in a seat that held a corpse for years, if I'm honest.
Goodheart.
Oh? So how is your current seat? Is it comfy?
Diamond.
I don't like where this is going.
Goodheart.
Well, the truth of the matter is that you are sitting on the same seats that my brother used to sit on. Did I mention that he was infected in his Slayer by his co-pilot and we had to cut both of them out of there?
Diamond.
Ugh.
Frostmane.
Would you guys stop your bickering already? Red, how likely is it for us to be able to salvage parts from the stranded Slayers?
Red Eye.
Diamond has a point, but I think the most crucial parts should be hidden under the heavy plating. Don't forget that our Slayers have been stripped down for maneuverability. The original armor was much stronger and thicker. It could be that we find them in perfect condition, save for the few damages that the undead caused. But it could also be that they have rusted to dust by now. I just don't know. There's no precedence for a Slayer being exposed to the elements for such a long time.
Sugarcoat.
Forget it. I won't make that trip, no matter what you say. Sugarcoat out.
Silverchain.
Hey, Sugar, what are you? I'm sorry, Frostmane. I'll try to convince him. Silverchain out.
Sea Cloud.
I don't like that idea either. Count me out. Sea Cloud out.
Mystique.
That stallion. I don't like the idea either, Frostmane, but you are the captain. If you decide to go, then I'll cover your back. No matter what this useless lump that calls itself my husband says. Mystique out.
Diamond.
I'm with Sugarcoat. We should return to base. Sparkle 5 is in no condition to make the journey. Sparkle 5 out.
Melon Slice.
Melon Slice out.
Goodheart.
That leaves only Sparkle 1 and 4, I guess. But I kind of expected that. How long have you guys been working together, Frosty?
Frostmane was trying to hide her tears and sniffling, but failed to keep her sadness out of her voice as she replied. Frostmane.
3 weeks.
Red-Eye.
That's not very long. I'm sorry to say it, but it will only get worse before it gets better. I remember Goldshield. He was our former captain. When he took command of our squad, no pony trusted him, and he was even greener than you, Frosty. We almost lost a Slayer due to his stupidity once, and every pony blamed him for it. But believe me, no pony blamed him harder than he did himself. One of the pilots had been killed and eaten by a dragon, and all because Goldshield ordered them to an unsafe location.
Goodheart.
After that he excelled. We never lost a single Slayer or pilot again, but most of our squad still couldn't forget what he had done before.
Frostmane.
What happened? I mean, it sounds like you guys didn't trust him, but whenever I hear you speak of him, you do so as if he was one of your best friends.
Goodheart.
That is because he was. During a simple patrol along the dragon borders, we got ambushed by a few rogue dragons one day. That happened sometimes back in the day, but they usually backed out after they noticed that we can fight them on even ground. This group, however, did not run away.
Frostmane.
What happened?
Red-Eye.
We got separated from the others during the fight. To be honest, we broke formation and ran right into a trap.
Goodheart.
Just as we thought that this was it, because our Slayer was being held down by several dragons.
Redheart.
Goldshield's Slayer cut one of them in half and knocked the others off of us so we could stand up. He had used his thrusters to come to our aid. He got almost killed in the fight, because that last thruster dash had cost him more energy than he had anticipated, but he didn't even try to run away. After that day, all of Squad Beta trusted him.
Goodheart.
Don't get mad with us, little sister, but we think that you have to do the same. You must earn their trust before we can function as a unit. You are a field commander here, so give orders during a fight. Explain the tactics you have worked out for each individual fight. Using standard engagement tactics, well, those won't work out against those enemies, Frosty.
Red-Eye.
Listen to your big brother. He's definitely onto something.
Frostmane.
Yes, Mom.
Red-Eye.
And now go get some sleep. That's an order from your mother. Red-Eye out.
Goodheart.
Sleep well, Frosty. We'll keep a watch out while you sleep. Goodheart out.
Frostmane.
Candy, you should go and get some sleep as well.
Candy. Frostmane.
Sleepyhead. Okay, I know you're listening in, you know. Come on, say it. I messed up and ended up being told what to do by my older brother and my mother. I wouldn't even hold it against you if you took command from me, General Shining Armor.
Shining Armor bolted in his seat. Shining Armor.
How did you know?
Frostmane.
If you tap into a conversation and want to stay unnoticed, you should deactivate your ID signal. I can see that you locked yourself into the conversation. So what will it be, sir? Do you want to take over from here? I'm clearly not suited for the job. Had you not interfered, we would all be dead by now.
Shining Armor.
No. You stay in command, Captain. And it isn't shameful to accept advice, especially advice from ponies who care about you. You want to know a secret? When I first joined the Royal Guard, I wrote to my father every day, asking for advice, since he had been a Royal Guard as well before he married my mother. And even after I became a prince in the Crystal Empire, I sometimes asked my little sister for advice. You see, I'm not perfect either. Besides, this is your squad, and I am under your command. There's only one thing on which I will pull my rank on you.
Frostmane.
Oh, and what would that be, sir?
Shining Armor.
Okay, 2 things. Stop calling me sir and go to sleep. It will be a long day tomorrow. I'll join Sparkle 4 in keeping an eye out. Shining Armor up.
Frostmane.
One more question, sir. Shining.
Shining Armor.
Yes.
Frostmane.
Why us? You could have taken the Alphas. Their Slayers are better maintained and they have trained in them for years. They are truly an elite team.
Shining Armor.
If we were fighting dragons, I would agree with you. But I convinced my brother-in-law to assign me to your squad because I saw potential. The Alphas are an elite team if they have to fight against dragons, but the Beta squad has just recently been reformed. None of you have ever fought dragons with a Slayer before, except the pilots of Sparkle 4.
Frostmane.
Isn't that a disadvantage towards the Alphas? I mean, even our magical strength tests were lousy. The weakest Alpha has more than twice the medical muscle that I have.
Shining Armor.
True. But the Alphas have one great disadvantage towards you guys. They are strong, that's true, and if you had to square off against them right now, you would be slaughtered.
Frostmane.
So what is that disadvantage? What is it? I need to know.
Shining Armor.
They are too good.
Frostmane.
Pardon?
Shining Armor.
You know, I read all your service records. Yours was especially interesting. You lost your eye 2 weeks after being transferred to Dragon Base 1 to a rampaging dragon hatchling. Instead of killing it, however, you restrained it.
Frostmane.
And got nothing but laughs from my superiors.
Shining Armor.
But by doing that and returning the hatchling to its mother, you showed compassion and common sense. Had you killed a hatchling that was simply throwing a temper tantrum, you could have caused an incident with the dragons. Instead, the dragons even thanked us for the return of their hatchling, and officially apologized to you for your injury.
Frostmane.
I just couldn't kill it. Once it was defeated, it was whining and screaming for its mother. Had our roles been reversed, I'm sure I would have ended up as a snack for him, but I couldn't bring myself to deliver the final blow.
Shining Armor.
And that is what I mean. The Alphas would have killed the hatchling simply because protocol states that every dragon that attacks a pony has to be taken out. They wouldn't have given it a second thought either. That is what I mean when I say that they are too good. They are too strict when following the protocol. You, however, have been reprimanded several times for bending the rules to your liking. I can't understand your superior officer, if I'm honest. Each time you did, the situation either resolved peacefully or with only minimum bloodshed.
Frostmane.
You seem to think pretty highly of me, but there's still our overall medical ability. I know that you alone have more medical strength than all of us together.
Shining Armor.
I honed my skills through years of training and have reached my limit. You, however, can still improve. Just you wait. A few weeks out here and you will have easily doubled your medical potential.
Frostmane.
Thank you, Shining Armor.
Shining Armor.
Sleep now. We have a long day ahead of us, Captain. Shining Armor, out.
Frostmane watched as the light of Sparkle 6 on her communication console went out and leaned back in her seat. Guess a little nap can't hurt, she thought to herself, intending to sleep only a few minutes. She was fast asleep only a second after she closed her eye. Background information and discussion time, every pony. And as a special treat for everyone who wished me well, when I wasn't feeling so good and when my tooth was making problems, I will, introduce the whole of Squad Sparkle to you today. I will, talk about them and introduce them to you. First of all, we have the crew of Sparkle 1. The main pilot is Pegasus stallion called Candy Cane. He has dark brown eyes, a yellow coat, and pink mane. He is a private. He is, quite insecure and would follow almost every order that Frostmane gives him because he has very low self-esteem. But he is quite a fighter if he wants to be, so don't take him lightly. Then of course we have the unicorn in that Slayer, which is Frostmane. Frostmane is a light blue unicorn mare who has lost her left eye to a dragon hatchling only 2 weeks after she first started to fight dragons at their borders. She is quite compassionate and would hate to shed blood if it isn't really necessary. Protocol is for her, the protocols are like a guideline for her, but she would bend the rules if she thinks it's necessary. She has no experience whatsoever as a field commander, which is why their first battle was almost a complete disaster. The only thing she absolutely can't stand is insubordination. She has taken on the job as commander of Team Sparkle, or Squad Sparkle, because she wants to redeem herself for, being too late to save Twilight when they were ordered to go to the outpost on Celestia Island. Next up, we have the crew of Sparkle 2. The main pilot is an Earth Pony mare named Silver Chain. She wears glasses, has purple eyes, a white coat, and grey mane and tail. She is what you could say the medic of the group and kinda like Fluttershy. She doesn't like to speak up, but she can voice her opinion if she has to. She's not much of a fighter, but she will defend herself if she has to. Usually, in her former assignments, she would stay at the rear lines because she didn't want to get involved. She only got into military service because she thought it was a good career move. Next up, we have the unicorn of Sparkle 2, which is Sugarcoat. The one who is, kinda prone to insubordination. He doesn't like orders. He has a black and white mane and tail, yellow eyes, and a red coat. He is quite aggressive and doesn't run from any fight. He would rather look for the confrontation than run away. So, practically the complete opposite of Silver Chain. He thinks that he should have been in charge of Squad Sparkle, but Frostmane beat him to it. That is one reason why he does not like her very much. Okay, next up, Sparkle 3, Mystique. Mystique is a Pegasus mare with a dark red mane, green eyes, and a dark purple coat. She is, combative. She kinda has something against Sugarcoat. They have known each other for a long time and got into fights more than once. She is on Frostmane's side because she is like some soldiers in Squad Alpha. She likes to follow protocol if if her husband doesn't talk her into breaking it. And her husband is her co-pilot, a unicorn stallion named Sea Cloud. He is, well, kind of the playful one. He is someone like, a little bit like Pinkie Pie. He wants to be friends with everyone, doesn't want confrontations, and doesn't like infighting between his squad mates, and would rather try to negotiate, help them get along. But he can't always do that, and that was one reason why he broke protocol, or talked Mystique into breaking protocol, and contacted Sparkle 6, even though their orders said that they were not to. Then we have Sparkle 4's crew. There we have an Earth Pony stallion named Goodheart. He is Frostmane's older brother. Yeah, he is an Earth Pony, she's a unicorn. We have seen that before with the Cake Twins, for example. The one is a Pegasus, the other is a unicorn. He has a blue mane and tail, light blue eyes, and a grey coat. He is very compassionate and always on the side of his sister. Kind of like a BBBFF. But they haven't seen each other for a while because he joined the military before she did, and even on Dragon Base 1 they were usually stationed in different locations. But he is, well, he can fight, he doesn't like to do it, he would rather talk about things, but if he has to fight, he will. And he's pretty good at it too, if he's given the right orders and is fighting in the right formation. And then we have the unicorn of that, Slayer, who is, incidentally, her mother. A unicorn mare with a two-toned coat. She has red eyes and a green and dark blue coat. Her mane and tail are violet, and she is kinda, so Red Eye is her name, her namesake, her red eyes. She is nice, but she's kinda like the evil stepmother. If you piss her off, she will kick your flank. And she will kick your flank so hard that you wish, well, that you would rather have, Princess Celestia kick your flank. Okay, next up, who do we have next? Next we would have Sparkle 5, the weakest one. Sparkle 5's unicorn mare is Diamond. She has a grey coat, light grey, with auburn eyes and white mane and tail. She is gentle and kinda meek sometimes. She doesn't like to speak up. But, well, she can pull her weight around the squad if she has to. Her specialization, for example, are shields or quick teleportation, that kind of stuff. Nothing lethal. She's not really a fighter. For that, she has her main pilot, Melon Slice, an Earth Pony stallion with a green coat, green eyes, and red mane and tail. A Melon Slice is quite aggressive, and kinda like Sugarcoat, he would rather fight his way through a horde of undead or any other enemy than turn tail and regroup. Okay, I don't think I have to explain Sparkle 6's crew to you, because Shining Armor and Rainbow Dash, those two characters are well known, and yeah, that was it. What do you think of Squad Sparkle? What do you think of their infighting in this chapter? Do you think that that pilots like Sugarcoat are blaming Frostmane is a good thing? Are their claims justified? I mean, she did try her best, but she is inexperienced. And as stated here in this chapter, Squad Sparkle was reformed. I mean, reformed in the way of they were broken apart, the pilots were distributed to other sections of Dragon Base 1 after the sortie they had after the breakout of the curse, and their slayers kinda just stood there. Now, most of the pilots are dead. The only original pilots left are Goodheart and Red Eye. And yeah, those two are actually, as you can hear in this chapter, the only ones who are 100% behind Frostmane, because they are family. And do you think that they should return to base, or should they try to maybe salvage the stranded slayers of the original Squad Beta? What do you think about Shining Armor's reasoning that he did not go for Squad Alpha, but instead for Squad Beta, which is now called Squad Sparkle? The Betas were always the pilots that, well, barely were able to pilot the Slayers, and the Alphas are always the elites. But he just doesn't want to take the Alphas because they are too set on the protocol, and they are, well, kinda too fast in their tracks. Someone who has trained to fight dragons for years and years can't adjust to fighting the undead, which are much smaller targets. I think he made a good decision. I mean, Squad Sparkle will learn how to fight the undead effectively, while the Alphas may have a better combat strength right now. They would, I think at least, lose to the undead. Squad Alpha would certainly lose to the undead after a while, because their tactics are adjusted for dragons, not for ponies. And the undead are nothing else than undead ponies. And those are usually much smaller than a dragon. So, tactics against dragons won't work. Sincerely yours, Visual Pony, and I'm looking forward to hear your opinion. I hope you liked the introduction of Squad Sparkle.